Good evening, I'm Ces Orenia Drilon.
I'm Pauline Berzosa.
And I'm Sean Yao.
The big stories tonight. One of the key voices in the flood control probe has spoken up, dismissed, and disgraced District Engineer Henry Alcantara has revealed a kickback scheme that supposedly involves top officials.
And from one embattled engineer to another, Bryce Hernandez is also tagging 6 senators to the flood control mess, according to his lawyer.
And ICC prosecutors have charged former President Rodrigo Duterte with 3 counts of murder over the killing of 78 victims and 49 bloody incidents from his much-touted war on drugs.
Ang pera na nakalaan para kay Consalde dinadala sa akin.
6 o 7 van po yung gamit namin nun.
7 van.
Pagdadala.
Bakit? Ilang maleta ba yung ilang bilyon na yon?
Ang laman po ng isang maleta nasa 50 million po. Mahigit po sa 20 maleta, Your Honor.
At 50 million.
Opo, Your Honor.
So mga 1 billion po yun.
Dismissed Public Works District Engineer Henry Alcantara has dropped names in today's Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing. But is he telling all? At least for now, he directly implicated Congressman Zaldico. The former House Appropriations Chief allegedly got kickbacks from flood control projects. Mobile Journal Merimon Reyes reports to us live from the Senate. Merimon, kanina nagka-diskusyonan tungkol sa allocable or sabi nila allocable leadership funds o kaya yung unprogram, parang iisa lang yon. So ano ba ang sinabi ni Alcantara na magkano ang tinatanggap ni Congressman Zaldico na SOP?
Magandang gabi, ladies. Dito nga sa naging testimony ni dismissed Bulacan 1st District Engineer Henry Alcantara, para siyang bomb drop after weeks of silence kasi sa mga lumipas na linggo, lagi niya dinedenay na may kaalaman nga siya tungkol dito sa anomalous flood control projects. Pero ngayon, itong parang bomb dropping niya, yung dropping niya ng mga pangalan ng mga kongresista o mga personalidad na tila nakatanggap nga ng kickback. Kasama dyan si Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico. At ang nasabi niya, etong mga kickback na nakukuha raw ni Ko ay galing sa advances ng mga kontratista. Hindi alam nga lang ng mga kontratista kung kanino ito mapupunta. For the case of Zaldico, yung pera para sa kanya dadalhin daw papunta dito kay Henry Alcantara. And then si Alcantara, siya raw ang magpapadala naman dito sa mga tauhan ni Zaldico. Nagbigay siya halimbawa si alias Paul, si alias Mark. At it could range yung pinagpapadalhan nila na mga around 2 or 3 times daw sa Shangri-La Hotel, sa BGC, and even daw doon sa residence ni Zaldico sa Pasig. And ang nasabi rin dito, 2022 to 2025, around 426 projects ang tila parang pinasok dito sa pangalan nga ni Zaldico, and that amounts to 35.02 billion pesos. For every project, mayroon daw binibigay si Alcantarang obligasyon kay Zaldico. Let's listen into a part of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing earlier.
Nakalaan para kay Consalde dinadala sa akin. Ako naman po ang nagdadala o naghahatid na hinihinging porsyento ng Consalde sa iba't ibang tao. Sa akin pong boss, na nabanggit po nung nakarang hearing ng aming kasama, Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo po.
Okay, ito namang dati niyang assistant na si Bryce Hernandez, ano naman ang idinagdag niya sa sinabi ng kanyang boss?
Oo, Ses, kinonfirm naman ni Bryce Hernandez na totoo, tama raw yun kasi even yung pera, sila nga raw yung nag-aasikaso, nag-aayos ng mga ito. And napakita pa nga yung isang larawan ng limpak-limpak na pera na nakapatong na naman sa lamesa ng district office nila. Pero ang nasabi rin dito ni Hernandez, kulang pa raw. Parang may mga pangalan pang hindi nababanggit. Though dito on the side of Hernandez, kinakabahan daw siya, tatakot daw siya na magbanggit kasi baka raw siya ay masampahan ng kasong libel. Pakinggan natin ang naging bahagi rin ng pagdinig ukol dito.
6 o 7 van po yung gamit namin nun.
7 van.
Pagdadala.
Bakit? Ilang maleta ba yung ilang bilyon na yon?
Ang laman po ng isang maleta nasa 50 million po.
So ilang maleta lahat-lahat yon? Estimate mo, pagkatanda mo.
Mahigit po sa 20 maleta, Your Honor.
At 50 million.
Opo, Your Honor.
So mga 1 billion po yon.
Paano ma-justify na magkaroon ka ng 36 bank accounts? So yung mga pumapasok na milyones at one time, paano ma-justify doon sa bangko?
Hindi ko rin po alam, Your Honor. Basta pinapayagan naman po ng mag-deposit po.
Mary Mon, marami rin tayong mga bagong characters, quote-unquote, na nakilala today. Pakilala mo sa amin, no? Kung sino-sino ang mga ito at ano ang kanilang role dito sa buong scheme.
Sean, yung isa sa nabanggit dito ni Alcantara, yung boss niya na si dating DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo. Siya kasi yung nababanggit kanina ni Alcantara na either silang dalawa daw yung nag-usap para nga ma-meet yung mga request for supposed projects. Halimbawa kay Senator Joel, ang request nito ay multipurpose buildings na amounting to 1.5 billion pesos. Pero dahil lang available lang daw nun na pera ay around 600 million, napagdesisyonan daw ni Alcantara at saka ni Bernardo na gamitin yung kumuha doon sa pondo ng flood control project. Aside from them, nabanggit din ni Alcantara na maging si dating Senadora Bong Revilla nakatanggap din o pasok din siya, link siya doon sa 300 million pesos na budget insertion. At ito ay nangyari noong lumabas nga sa year 2024. Yan yung taong tumatakbo naman itong si Revilla sa pagkasenador taong 2025. Bukod dyan, ito na nga si Bicol Representative Zaldico, even si dating kongresista Mitch Cahayon. Ito na yung ilan sa mga pangalan na nabanggit ni Henry Alcantara. Sean.
Oo, Mary Mon, kaninang umaga panandalian ding umalis itong si Engineer Henry Alcantara kasama si Justice Secretary Boying Remulla. Anong naging update ng kanilang pagbisita sa Justice Department? Mabibigyan ba siya ng witness protection?
Pauline, according to Justice Secretary Remulla, kanina nang nakausap ng media siya, masyado parang maaga. Hindi pa raw sila makakapagsabi kung ito bang si Henry Alcantara or maging yung iba pang parang nag-a-apply for the witness protection program, yung mag-asawang Diskaya, si Bryce Hernandez. Hindi pa raw nila masasabi kung sino yung lumalabas na tila pinaka-qualified. Kasi simula pa lang, kailangan daw nilang i-evaluate at pusisiin. For the case of Alcantara, yung sworn statement niya. For the cases of the Diskaya couple, yung naging statement din nila. And everything that surrounds it. Ang sabi din dito, tinitingnan nila yung credibility daw ng mga resource person kung sakaling nga sila ang mapapasailalim sa witness protection program. Pauline.
Mary Mon, nagkasagutan si Congressman Marcoleta at ang chair ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee na si Senator Lacson tungkol sa mga nasabi ni Senator Lacson. In short, para silang sino ba ang mas credible na witness? Parang yun ang punto ng kanilang argumento. Ano ba ang naging conclusion nung pagbabalik taktakan ng dalawa?
Ses, kanina kasi sa pagsisimula ng pagdinig ng Blue Ribbon, una agad na sinubok ni Marcoleta na magtanong nga raw. At ito kasi ay questioning ni Marcoleta sa naging opinion ni Senator Ping sa isang panayam na sinasabi niya parang mas credible daw na mapasailalim sa WPP itong si Bryce Hernandez kung ikukumpara sa mag-asawang Diskaya. So kinwestiyon ni Marcoleta yung integridad daw at yung pagiging patas ng komite at saka ng chairman ng Blue Ribbon. Pero ang sinabi ni Senator Ping, ito daw ay kanyang mga opinion sa labas ng committee proceedings. At nakita natin kanina nung nasuspend kasi naka-mic off na yung mga senador. Pero nakita natin tumayo itong si Senator Marcoleta. Akala nga natin mag-walk out siya. Pero narinig natin nung nag-uusap sila nila Senate President Tito Soto. Parang narinig natin yung terms na legislative inquiry. So ibig sabihin, maaari niya namang dalhin yung kanyang katanungan sa sesyon sa plenaryo sa Senado.
Okay, ang sunod na hearing ay Huwebes, this Thursday, Mary Mon. Sabi nila, after Thursday, posibleng may isa pa. After that, anong magyayari? At anong pwede nating asahan, no? May more explosions ba? Or explosive news or breaking na maaasahan sa Thursday?
Siya na maikli nga yung pagitan. So ngayon, Tuesday, Wednesday, konting pahinga siguro. And then Thursday, sasabak ulit ang Blue Ribbon Committee. Pero ang pinaka-sinasabi dito ni na Senator Ping Lacson, itong mga findings na makukuha nila, bukod sa, syempre, kung mayroong legislative move na maaari silang gawin bilang mga kongresista, ibibigay din nila ito sa Independent Commission on Infrastructure. At ang layon din nito ay para nga mapadali kung sakaling mayroong mga karampatang kasong kailangang ipataw dito sa mga personalidad na nasasangkot.
Oo, Merimon, kaninang umaga din, wala sa Senate si Senators Jinggoy Estrada at Joel Villanueva. But it turns out, hindi naman dahil nag-inhibit sila. Mukhang humarap kasi sila sa ICI.
Oo, Pauline, sa mga lumipas na linggo, even sa privilege speech ni Senator Jinggoy Estrada nung isang araw sa Senado, nasabi niya hindi raw siya matitinag, hindi rin daw siya mapipigilan nitong mga binabatong paratang sa kanya o alegasyon sa kanyang participation sa investigasyon ng Senado dito nga sa anomalya sa flood control. Pero kanina nga, wala sa pagdinig itong si Senator Jinggoy, pero siya, maging si Senator Joel Villanueva na sa simula din pa lang ng Blue Ribbon hearings, nadadawit sa isyong ito, humarap naman sila sa plenaryo at pareho nilang dininay itong mga alegasyon na sinasabi nila parang binabato sa kanila. For Senator Jinggoy, dinidikit pa rin daw yung pangalan niya dun sa mga kasong hinarap niya dati sa kasulukuyang investigasyon ng Senado.
Okay, maraming salamat. Thank you for your report. Mobile journalist Merimon Reyes reporting to us live from the Senate.
Now, the National Bureau of Investigation is filing charges against 6 personalities being implicated in the flood control mess. According to Justice Secretary Boying Remulla, the decision came about after a meeting with the Anti-Money Laundering Council. These personalities are dismissed DPWH engineer Henry Alcantara, Senators Joel Villanueva and Jinggoy Estrada, Congressman Zaldico, former DPWH Undersecretary Robert Bernardo, and former Caloocan Congresswoman Mitch Cahayon Uy. They could be facing charges of indirect bribery and malversation of public funds. The AMLAC also ordered their bank accounts frozen. Meantime, Senator Joel Villanueva insisted that he has nothing to hide and that he is ready to be investigated.
Mentioned my name. Operative word. Mentioned. Mr. President, ano po ba ito? Masabi lang po yung pangalan natin at idadawit po tayo sa flood control issue kahit ang mismong testigo na ang nagsabi po na wala po akong alam. Mema lang, may masabi. I am ready, Mr. President, and my office is ready to be investigated, that the truth may come out.
Meantime, Congressman Zaldico, said to be the most wanted in this controversy on flood control anomalies, issued a statement saying, quote, "The allegations made against me during today's Senate hearing are false and baseless. I reserve my right to respond to these allegations at the proper time and before the proper forum."
Former Senate Finance Committee Chairperson Grace Poe also appeared before the Independent Commission for Infrastructure to discuss the budget process, subpoenaed as a resource person by the commission. Poe denied any involvement in so-called small committees or closed-door meetings where alleged budget insertions were made. She explained that amendments from both houses are reconciled during the BICAM hearing with the Budget Department. Also appearing before the ICI was Navotas City Representative Toby Tiangco, who said he was ready to tell all about how insertions are made in the national budget and who benefits from them. Tiangco brought the flash drive containing details of the insertion system that he had previously presented before the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee.
We're just going to take a quick break, but coming up, the former and current chair of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee butt heads in today's session. The fiery exchange when the big story returns. Keep it here.
You're watching the big story here on One News. International Criminal Court prosecutors have filed 3 counts of murder against former President Rodrigo Duterte linked to alleged crimes against humanity during his time as Davao City Mayor and later as President. In a redacted document containing the charges, Deputy Prosecutor Mame Mandiaye Nyang outlined Duterte's alleged responsibility in 19 killings in Davao City, 14 high-value targets during his presidency, and 45 deaths in nationwide barangay clearing operations. The filing claims Duterte and his co-perpetrators carried out a common plan to violently target suspected criminals, including drug offenders. The prosecutor also noted the scale of victimization was significantly greater than the charged cases. The former chief executive remains in detention at The Hague, and the hearing initially set for September 23 was postponed after his lawyer cited his declining health, claiming he is unfit to stand trial.
Back here at home in today's Senate Blue Ribbon hearing inquiry, a tense moment between the current and former chair of the committee. There was a heated exchange between Senators Ping Lacson and Rodante Marcoleta that happened while the hearing was on a quick recess. Senator Marcoleta questioned Lacson's statement in an interview that dismissed Public Works engineer Bryce Hernandez deserves to be evaluated for the Witness Protection Program more than contractors Curly and Sara Discaya. Marcoleta does not believe that Lacson has the prerogative to make that judgment. In reply, Lacson questioned his fellow senator's seeming defense of the Discayas. Here's that exchange.
The point is, an investigator cannot be judged at the same time. Do not judge.
We are not judging.
No, ang importante rito is the objectivity, sinasabi ko na sa'yo.
Are you trying to steal the show?
No. I am raising prejudicial questions.
Or you're creating trouble to prevent the proceeding?
Mr. Chair, sinabi ko na sa'yo, the interest of this committee is the impartiality, the objectivity. Sana huwag kayo magbibigay ng opinion. Why did you choose, for example, Bryce?
That's my opinion. You cannot question my opinion. Outside of this hall, you cannot question my opinion. You also express your
I
opinion.
am questioning your opinion because you are the chairman of this committee, Mr. Chair.
What's your prediction?
Ang mangyayari nito, so, mas credible si Bryce kesa Discaya. Bakit ganon? Why are we trying to prejudge this? Hindi, Mr. President, we are still in the process of investigation. If we are in the process of investigation,
Why are you
then
so
we should not
protective of
judge.
the Discayas? Why are you so protective?
I am not protecting them. Mabuti sinabi mo yan, Mr. Chair. Pwede ba natin i-record ito? Palagi niyong sinasabi, I am protective of the Discayas. When I was chairman of this committee, sinabi ko na sa inyo, the only remedy provided under the law is for them to apply if they qualify under the process of Witness Protection Program. That's all what I did.
Session is resumed.
Sila.
Session is resumed. Mr. Alcantara, you proceed.
When the hearing resumed, Marcoleta had another back and forth, this time with Justice Secretary Boying Remulla. It all started with a question from Senator Bam Aquino, who asked if state witnesses are required to return wealth believed to have come from questionable sources. Marcoleta hit Remulla for seeking restitution of money and other properties from personalities applying for the Witness Protection Program or the WPP. The king and queen of contractors, Curly and Sara Discaya, are being evaluated for the WPP.
My opinion, it is in the law, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I am operating...
The arbiter
Sir, can I
is the
speak,
law.
sir? May I speak, sir?
Yes, you
I'm
are
operating from the
Senator Marcoleta,
from the
kindly allow
vantage
the
point of the
resource
reason behind the law, sir. What is the reason behind the law? So that we can get justice, and justice can only be attained if there is restitution. So that is the principle behind all of these things that we are talking about now.
Mr. Secretary, restitution will come after. It cannot be.
Sir, it can come before or after, sir. It can come before or after.
You said, wag po ninyong babaguhin ng
Sir,
batas.
the gravity of this financial crime cannot be underestimated. And that the more assets that we're able to preserve at the outset, the better for our country, sir.
Mr. Secretary, I'm very sorry for such a reasoning like that. Alam mo, nakikinig
I'm very
ang
sorry, sir.
buong bansa.
Also, sir, I'm very sorry too. If you do not agree with me,
A group of church leaders expressed satisfaction over the outcome of anti-corruption rallies last Sunday and in the past few days. We discussed this with attorney Howard Calleja, spokesperson for the Church Leaders Council for National Transformation. Good evening to you, attorney Howie. Thank you for joining us here in the big story.
Yes, good evening, Ses, Pauline and Sean and ladies. Good evening po sa inyong lahat.
So tell us first about this transformation organization of the church. Has it just been newly formed, or is this part of the church, Catholic Church's system?
This is part of the Catholic Church. I mean, it's headed by bishops, priests, religious, and then they banded together with the civil society organizations, one of which is Isang Bayan, which I'm a convener of. And we sat down and we found out that we all have a common agenda, which is to fight corruption, ask the government for transparency, accountability, in light with all of this corruption being shown or happening every day. So we thought of really banding together and demand that from the government na dapat nga singilin kung sino yung dapat singilin at panagutin kung sino yung dapat panagutin.
Ano pa po ba ang balak ng simbahan na mga pagkikilos protesta sa mga darating na araw, linggo, buwan?
Ses, yung ating rally or yung ating indignation noong September 21, sabi ko nga, hindi naman yan nagtatapos dyan. Nagsisimula lang tayo dyan. And we are so happy with the turnout kasi nga we were looking lang, Ses, at about 20 to 30,000 maximum. Actually, estimates go 80,000, even higher than that. No, I mean we hit not only twice or 3 times the amount, and ang preparation dito mga 10 days lang. No, but sabi ko nga as the days goes, we will be attentively looking at the ICI, itong fact-finding body, and we will follow them religiously to show and to see and hopefully na yung kanilang fact-finding ay magbunga nga, would bear fruit, na hindi lang yung mga contractor o district engineer, pati na yung mga congressman, senator, secretary, at kung sino man ang aabutin, kamag-anak man, kaibigan, dapat nga ito sila ay panagutin. At sabi nga, yung chant natin nung Sunday, dapat na nga ikulong yung mga corrupt. So I think that is where we're headed. And kung hindi kami mapakinggan, tuloy-tuloy itong aming pangangatok, pagrarally, and pwede rin dalhin ito sa lahat ng sulok ng Pilipinas. Hindi lang Metro Manila ang nagalit, buong Pilipinas. And I think sabay-sabay din, no? Meron din last Sunday, meron din sa Cebu, meron din sa Iloilo, sa Bacolod, sa Cagayan de Oro. I think kukunin namin itong mark or palatandaan na we can bring this not only in Metro Manila but also in the provinces to show that the indignation is not only in the city but all around the Philippines.
Yes, we can hear in the hearings that every senator is saying na ito ang gusto ng taong bayan. They're always, whenever they question a witness. So the rally proved effective in a sense na sending fear to our leaders.
Yeah, it sends the signal na sawa na sa corruption, I mean, nanggaling na dyan meron na tayong fertilizer scam, may na police scam, marami na tayong, meron pang pharmacy scam, pero walang nakukulong na tunay na mga mastermind o matataas na tao. So I think it's about time. Let's make itong corruption painful for them. Let's make the conviction of the corrupt individuals certain para hindi sila makatakas, hindi sila mag-corrupt sa susunod na kukulungin mo, kukulihin mo, tapos iboboto mo lang ulit. I think hindi na dapat mangyari yon. So I think whatever we got before, lessons learned, and I think dapat really accountability should really be the name of the game at this point in time.
But Howie, there were certain groups out to take advantage of the crowd and to sow violence. So what can you say about this?
Says, klaro naman dun sa amin, in Luneta and in EDSA, we were very peaceful and we are calling for yun na nga, accountability and to stop corruption. We didn't call for any ouster of government, to any overthrow of government, or to replace any politician, no? Or the president, to make it clear. Pero hindi natin maiiwasan na meron talagang manggugulo at manggugulo dyan. So mabuti hindi yan nanggaling sa hanay namin, sa ranks namin. At klaro naman na yung humihingi ng gulo, iba ang agenda, hindi anti-corruption ang agenda, pero gusto na lang ipalit ang kanilang ang presidente sa kanilang vice presidente. Malinaw naman yun na yung vice president nila ngayon, si Vice President Sara is also embroiled in a lot of corruption charges na hindi pa rin niya nasasagot kahit yung kanyang confidential fund. So it's really, these people are not fighting against corruption. They're just fighting about the personality. Pero unlike yung aming rally in Luneta and in EDSA especially, malinaw na ang tawag na ang aming sigaw against corruption, against the system, na baguhin yung sistema. Kaya nga transformation yan says, no? National transformation is not only a transformation of the leaders, but really a transformation of the people, the system, and of the country.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you, Attorney Calleja, no? Beyond transparency and accountability, and obviously may impact kasi ang dami nagsalita today sa Senate hearing, pero we need reforms beyond transparency, beyond accountability. Ano po yung nakikita ng grupo ninyong mga reforms na alam mo yun, na kailangan na talaga natin para talagang magbago na yung sistema, because this is very deep and very systematic?
Yeah, well, isa sa mga hinihingi natin dyan, yung tanggalin na yung dynasty talaga, no? Very clear yung anti-dynasty provision sa Constitution. It is prohibited, no? So dapat yan talagang gawin na yung mandate ng Congress if they're really serious about it. And if the President is really serious to crack down, I think that is one thing that he should prioritize, yung anti-dynasty bill, number one. Number two, yung let us put a stop to the pork barrel. Alam mo, nung Napolis, noong 2013, nahinto yung pork barrel na yan But it came back now with a vengeance. Grabe, it came back in another form, in another name. So I think dapat talaga ihinto yan. And klaro naman that the congressmen and the senators, they are there to craft laws and not to pinpoint projects. Hindi ho sila gumagawa ng proyekto. Klarong-klaro po yan. So I think those are things na we should make sure. And I think yung certainty of conviction, because if you look at the Sandigan Bayan, maraming nafa-file na kaso, pero marami rin silang na-acquit. They acquit more than they convict. At sadly, ang nako-convict yung mga nagnakaw ng 10,000, 50,000, or even less, no? So, pero yung nagnakaw ng hundreds of millions, hindi na parurusahan. I think we have to study again how can we have a higher rate of conviction, especially when the position or when the official is in a high position.
Well, one final question, Attorney Howie. You mentioned dynasties, political dynasties. But how do we entrust that to Congress, who are populated by all dynasties? Will a people's initiative be an option for your group? Organize.
Yes,
it's a hard task, but you have the ability to do it.
Yeah, it is tough, true, says and ladies. However, we are hoping that Congress will do its mandate. And yes, kung hindi nila gawin yung mandate, one of the options that was very much explained by Heidi Mendoza and Shelo Magno during Sunday's rally, that talagang one of the things na gusto nating i-forward yung people's initiative na talagang kailangan gawin yan. And one of that, kasi you have to make it per topic, so per issue. So ang issue dyan, ang pwede natin i-forward dyan is yung political dynasty. Or kung hindi mag-people's initiative, maybe we can look, no? It's a very hot topic or hot issue, pero we can look at a constitutional amendment, a constitutional convention, maybe, not a constitutional assembly, but maybe a constitutional convention, if that would be possible also. So there's a lot of possibilities, but I think what's more important is we have to have these corrupt people accountable. If sa tingin namin, if by the end of the year, wala pang nakulong, I think baka we can have a bigger swell of people na talagang makikita mo yung galit nandun. Although we are peaceful, the rally was peaceful, kitang-kita mo yung anger, yung galit, at yung sukang-suka na talaga. So I think we really need some results even before the end of the year.
All right, we thank you for your time. That was Attorney Howard Calleja, spokesperson for the Church Leaders Council for National Transformation.
Thank you and good evening to all.
Meantime, developments have also emerged from Malacanang and the House of Representatives. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro has called for an investigation into former Governor Chavit Singson. That's to determine if he can be charged with inciting to sedition. Yuse Castro claims Singson encouraged high school and college students, many of them minors, to skip school and join a, quote, revolution against corruption. Over at the lower chamber, the House Committee on Appropriations has approved the proposed 2026 national budget. That's with amendments from the Budget Amendments Review Subcommittee. The vote resulted in 54 in favor, 6 against, and 4 abstentions. The House has also named former PCO Chief Cheloy Garafil as its new Secretary General. She replaces Reginald Velasco. The SecGen post was declared vacant after a motion from Majority Leader Sandro Marcos, who later nominated Garafil. Meanwhile, Navotas City Representative Toby Tiangco, in his appearance before the ICI, has filed an ethics complaint against Ako Bicol Representative Zaldi Co before the House Committee. Tiangco also alleged that Co, former chair of the House Appropriations Committee, made last-minute insertions in the 2025 national budget. He said Co violated the Constitution and the Code of Conduct for public officials.
And now we have him again with us, Navotas Congressman Toby Tiangco. Tell us more. Good evening, Congressman. Welcome once again to the big story. So tell us more about this ethics complaint. Parang that's a slap on the wrist.
Hindi, that's the least that we can do, di ba? What could we do at this point in time? Yun ang pwede natin gawin. So nag-file na tayo ng ethics complaint, no? But more than the ethics complaint, I think the most important thing that happened today was yung pag-connect doon yung insertions doon sa sinasabing kickback, di ba? If you would recall, lagi kong ini-insist na there is something wrong with the insertions, no? Though, open secret naman yung 20 to 25% na yan eh. Hindi ko lang siya mabanggit dati kasi lahat naman ng binabanggit kong bagay ay may pruweba ako. Ito, kung banggitin ko siya before, wala naman akong first-hand knowledge, no? But based on the testimony of D.E. Alcantara doon sa Senado, sinabi niya na yung 20% in 2022 at yung 25% in 2023 onwards was in exchange for the insertions. So ngayon, mas maliwanag na sa mga kababayan natin kung bakit pinag-initan ko tila yung insertions na yon. Kasi yun talaga ang magdudugtong doon sa kickback. At kung bakit pinipilit ko nun malaman kung sino yung proponent. Diba? I've been always explaining, iba yung proponent, iba yung district ko. So yan yung sinasabi na ni District Engineer Alcantara. Kasi in the case that he's saying, ang proponent ay lumalabas na si Congressman Saldico, pero obviously, hindi siya yung congressman ng Bulacan, di ba? So yan yung sinasabi ko noon-noon pa.
Speaking of Zaldico, Congressman Tiangco, any idea nasan siya? Because sa mga ambush interview kay bagong House Speaker Boji D, kinonfirm ni House Speaker na natanggap na daw yung letter. Pero he didn't disclose na kung nahanap na ba, kailan natanggap at kailan maglalapse yung 10 days to return to the Philippines. Kung may alam lang po kayo.
Wala. Sorry, I don't know where he is. Hindi ko alam nasaan siya. Yung 10 days would lapse kailan ba pinalabas yun? I think it was Thursday.
Is it not counted?
Friday?
Is it not counted from the receipt?
From the receipt daw eh. From the receipt.
Okay. So from the receipt, they received it today. So October 2?
So kung hindi po siya bumalik on his own, what are the other options na pwede nating gamitin para mahanap siya at maipabalik siya dito sa Philippines?
Yung maipabalik talagang it will depend on our justice system, no? Kami sa House, ang pwede namin gawin is yung nangyari noon kay Arnie Teves, di ba? Na nung hindi siya bumalik, sinuspend muna yata namin. And then after, subsequently, na-expel din siya. So baka ganun yung mangyari doon kay Congressman Zaldico, no? Kasi yung to use legal remedies to send him back, walang kapangyarihan yung ano dyan eh. Yung house dyan eh. It will be our law enforcement agencies that would be able to do that.
Kong Toby, today kayo po ay naimbitahan din ng Independent Commission for Infrastructure. How did that meeting go, Congressman? And what kind of evidence did you submit to them?
Okay naman yung meeting, but I'm not sure about the rules of the ICI, no? So hindi ko alam if I could disclose what was discussed doon sa closed door meeting namin. So pasensya na, hindi ko masagot yun kasi hindi ako sigurado doon sa rules na...
Pero dala nyo rin yung ebidensya pinakita nyo sa Senado. More or less.
Yeah, dala ko yun.
The USB. Kung nagtataka kami, baka may iba ka pang nahanap, no? Sa pagkaka-excel mo. Beyond that. Kasi it's hard to believe na it's limited to these. Yes, more names came out today, but it's still not a lot. It's still less than 10 lawmakers in total.
Okay. Pagdating kasi doon sa Senate, I don't have the records of that. Because kung matatandaan nyo, the reason na nagkaroon ako ng records nung sa House is because hindi nag-submit yung House of Representatives ng record ng insertions nila at March 24 na noon. My understanding was, yung Senate, nag-submit na sila within 3 days in January. So kaya ako nasama dun sa meeting ngayon because March 24 na hindi pa nagsasubmit yung House at gusto nila, without submitting, ma-release yung mga for later release. So ako po yung naatasan to coordinate with the House to ask for the insertions. At doon ko nga ginawa yung Excel file. Sabi ko nga, yung Excel file, pinadala ko sa DPWH, sabi ko, isulat nila yung district congressman at yung isa, binalik ko sa House through Congressman JJ Suarez para sabi ko, ilagay niyo yung proponent at yun ang pinagtapat ko. So, ngayon, mas naiintindihan na ng mga tao at siguro ng lahat kung bakit ko pinagtapat-tapat. Because ito yung pinapatunguhan ko na nakakaduda kung iba yung proponent at iba yung district congressman. So maliwanag, doon sa case ng Bulacan, ang proponent o ang funder is si Zaldico napunta sa isang distrito sa Bulacan at according to engineer, yung district engineer, ay humingi ng 20%, tapos later on 25%. Yun naman talaga yung pinapatunguhan ko. Hindi ko lang siya mabanggit kasi wala akong...
To clarify, Kong, no? Yun na ba lahat ng insertions, yung laman ng USB mo? Kasi yun nga yung kinuwento mo just now. Pero napanood ko kasi yung interview mo with Ami Pamintuan sa Philippine Star. Tapos yun din yung sinabi ninyo. Pero nagtataka lang ako kung yun na ba talaga yung suma total ng lahat ng insertions? Or meron pa?
Hindi. Siyempre, at that time, yung context ng paglabas ng USB was to explain why Zaldico had to be invited, di ba? Yun yung context nun eh. Bakit Zaldico lang yung laman ng USB? Kasi yun ay nakahanda para doon sa unang meeting ng TRICOM kasi nga, ihilingin ko na imbitahan si Congressman Zaldico. Of course, they will ask me. Siyempre, na-anticipate na natin. Ang tatanong nila, bakit iimbitahan? So, nung nag-motion si Congressman Erice at ayaw nilang pumayag, kaya ako sinabi na may USB, di ba? Pero hindi lang yun lahat, hindi lang yun yung pangalan doon kasi yan nahandon yung buong insertion, nahandon po lahat ng insertion doon sa file, wala doon sa USB. Kaya lang ko lang yung USB kasi nga to prove why Zaldico has to be invited.
The question is if you inserted, you already got 20 to 25%. No, the congressman who is responsible for insertions, can we assume that they already got, the 20 to 25% or even as high as 30?
No, it doesn't follow because kung yung mga congressman na nagre-request for their district, ang gusto lang nila doon, magka-proyekto yung distrito nila, di ba? Iba yon doon sa, kaya nga, dinidifferentiate ko lagi doon sa congressman ka, tapos naglagay ka sa ibang distrito. Anong benepisyo mo nun? Hindi ka naman iboboto ng mga taga kasi hindi mo naman sila botante, di ba?
Tama.
Yung mga nag-insert, nilagay nila sa distrito ng iba.
That doesn't
Okay,
also
second- second-
also absolve those who were asking for projects and got 20 to 25%. There are also some.
Yes,
right?
yes. Wait, I'll just continue, no? Second, says, um, yun nga ang sama ng loob ng congressman. Yun ang sama ng loob ng congressman. Kanina when I went back to Congress after they watched the testimony of D.E. Alcantara, naglabasan na labas ng sama ng loob ng mga congressman kasi sabi niya, pag kami hihingi ng additional, ang hirap-hirap namin makakuha, di ba? Tapos yung pala binibenta lang, ibig sabihin, dinadala doon sa hindi humihingi, kapalit na 25%. Ibig sabihin, if you're a congressman asking for legitimate projects in your district, na hirap kang bigyan ng additional, tapos ngayon na bulgar, na hindi ka makakuha, pero doon sa hindi nanghihingi, binabatuhan lang sila. How would you feel?
Congressman, kanina yung mga nabanggit din ni Engineers Alcantara and Hernandez na kapag vertical, pag building, mas onti yung kickback na nakukuha. Kasi nga naman, delikado kung talagang wala nang maiwan na funds for the project. Pero ang flood control kasi, since it's underground, ang naiiwan na lang sa project, 20 to 30%. So mukhang paborito nga talaga ng mga solons na nag-i-insert itong mga invisible projects. Is that aligned with what you also know, Congressman?
Okay. When I studied this, my philosophy was not what projects. My philosophy really is you have to eliminate the selling of project. Bakit? Bakit yan ang philosophy ko? Because sabihin natin totally ban natin yung flood control, okay? At okay, tignan muna natin paano ba napunta yun sa flood control. Dapat malaman niyo yung history. Nung una, ang pinagdududahan nun is yung slope protection tsaka rock netting. Kaya pagdating ni Secretary Bonoan, ang una niyang ginawa, binawal niya yung slope protection tsaka yung rock netting. So naghanap sila ng ibang pagdadala ng proyekto at doon napunta sa flood control. Assuming, sabihin natin zero flood control. And we were not able to control the DUPA. Yung DUPA is Detailed Unit Price Analysis. Yan yung kinontrol ni Secretary Babe Singson when he was DPWH Secretary.
Okay.
That is what you have to control, not the description of the project. Because, kunyari, sabihin natin, totally 100% walang flood control at hindi natin kinontrol yung Detailed Unit Price Analysis, hahanap lang sila ng ibang pagkakakitaan eh. Ililipat lang nila yung racket doon sa ibang proyekto naman, di ba? So ang dapat lang i-control dyan is yung detailed unit price analysis, same as ginawa ni Secretary Singson noong siya ay DPWH Secretary.
Meaning, there is a system to evaluate. May price, may standard.
So I spoke to him earlier. No, tinanong ko nga siya, di ba nakita kami sa ICI. Sure, this I can disclose kasi hindi man to part nung testimony. Tinanong ko, sir, paano nyo ba ginagawa yung DUPA noon? Sabi niya, kasi yung kanila dati, galing sa central office, tapos per region, ito lang yung presyong dapat nyo gamitin per unit cost.
Right.
Ngayon yata, hindi na daw nasusunod yon.
Okay.
All right. Well, we thank you very much for your time. And you feel that your revelations are now bearing fruit.
Finally, no, kala ko walang pupuntahan kasi hindi ko talaga pwede sabi kahit naririnig-rinig ko, kahit open secret yung 20-25%. If I told you last month, may 20-25% yan, you will ask me, anong proof mo? Wala naman ako papakita sa inyo, di ba?
All right, we thank you for joining us in the big story again, Navotas Congressman Toby Tiangco.
Thank you.
We're going to be pausing for another quick breather, but when we return, the lawyer of dismissed DPWH engineer Bryce Hernandez says that very soon his client will name 6 senators tied to the flood control mess. The details on that when we return. Keep it here.
Thank you for staying with us here on The Big Story. Two young men have accused Gawad Kalinga founder Tony Meloto of sexual abuse. I got to meet both of them, but only one agreed to sit down for an exclusive interview. Take a listen. Michael and Albert had to keep this secret for years. Only recently did they finally muster the courage to fight back. In complaint affidavits filed in November last year, the young men accused Gawad Kalinga founder Tony Meloto of acts of lasciviousness, sexual harassment, and human trafficking. And just several weeks ago, the Justice Department found probable cause to finally go ahead and file 2 counts of sex trafficking charges against Meloto. The abuse supposedly happened inside Gawad Kalinga's enchanted farm in Encanto, Angat, Bulacan. Michael and Albert were former scholars of SEED, or the School for Experiential and Entrepreneurial Development, almost a decade ago. Only Michael agreed to be interviewed on record.
I didn't know really kung ano yung mga basihan ng qualifications. Pero ang narinig ko lang po doon na sinabi nila na yung scholarship is for the less fortunate that are given scholarships na dedikado talaga. So I think nung na-interview po ako, siguro nakita nila na I was dedicated. So I after a few weeks, I got a call from them.
Michael was awed by Tony Meloto, the driving force behind SEED and all other programs of Gawad Kalinga back then. You considered, and eventually, you considered Tony like a father figure.
Well,
Eventually.
When I was in the Spartan program na, so nagkaroon po kami ng strict rules or way of living. Kasi we were brought there to be mga individuals for nations.
The Spartans were handpicked by Meloto from among scholars for leadership roles, men of honor as he called them.
Para sa bayan po. Tinuturuan niya kami doon kung paano maging to end poverty for my family, for our community, for our country. Yun po yung term niya doon. So every day, there's this certain rules na gagawin namin, discipline na kailangan namin bumangon ng 5 in the morning. Tapos late na kaming matutulog ng gabi kasi how do you call this? Magtuturo pa siya sa amin ng vocabularies, more vocabularies, values.
But the earlier camaraderie and mentoring Michael got from Meloto would turn into a harrowing experience.
I numbed myself for 7 years. I thought it was a way to forget yung nangyari. And then I tried to live like normal, pero it was impossible. I felt like there was a story behind the past na hindi natuldukan. And then because I also attempt to file a case, I wrote an affidavit back in 2019. That story reached few people. Na only in 2017 na find out nila na wanted to journey me through this. Kaya I'm just lucky to have those few people, to have these connections in finding the peace.
Meloto has since denied Michael and Albert's allegations. Just how did the abuse happen, as told by Michael? The full story on the One News documentaries Enchanted, Not a Fairy Tale, Meloto and the Abuse Scandal. That airs on Saturday, September 27 at 7:30 in the evening. I also have an exclusive interview with Tony Meloto that will be on The Long Take, airing tomorrow, Wednesday, September 24 at 7 p.m.
All right, checking in on the weather now. The tropical depression that Pagasa is monitoring has already entered the Philippine area of responsibility. Opong is still pretty far from the landmass, more than 1,000 kilometers east of northeastern Mindanao. But it is slowly approaching the eastern Visayas and southern Luzon area. Starting tomorrow, September 24, wind signal number 1 could be up over eastern Visayas and the Bicol region. And on Friday, September 26th, Opong may pass close or make landfall over northern Samar and cross the southern Luzon area until Friday or Saturday before exiting the Philippine area of responsibility. Pag-asa predicts that up to signal number 3 could be raised and Opong could further strengthen to severe tropical storm category. Meanwhile, Super Typhoon Ragasa, formerly Nando, is now outside the PAR and continues to move away from Batanes over the West Philippine Sea. However, signal number 1 is still up over Batanes, Cagayan, the northern portion of Isabela, as well as in Apayao, Abra, Kalinga, Mountain Province, Ifugao, Benguet, the Ilocos Provinces, La Union, and the northwestern portion of Pangasinan. Just yesterday, Monday, up to signal number 5 was hoisted over the provinces up north. It caused storm surges in Cagayan, which for the most part was under signal number 4. A fishing vessel with 13 crew members capsized in the town of Santa Ana. Philippine Coast Guard had to cut through the fishing bangka jobens just to get to the crew, who were found drenched in crude in the engine room. 6 were rescued, 3 unfortunately died, while 4 are still missing. Initial investigation shows that while the boat sought shelter before the super typhoon, apparently it was not enough.
Meron po ako nakapitan na lubid. Hindi na po ako bumunta doon. Halos ay mahigit 3 oras. Kami nakahawak na sa bangka.
Focus kasi namin dito more inland. Dito ka sa mainland mismo. Yung pala nandiyan pa rin, nakagarahe na pero natamaan pa rin. No? Pero mo nakaangkla na sila. Nakapundo na sila. Natamaan pa rin.
Meanwhile, Nando or Ragasa is also still enhancing the southwest monsoon, bringing rains to other parts of the country, including here in Metro Manila.
Embattled former DPWH official Bryce Hernandez says he will name at least 6 senators linked to the flood control controversy. Hernandez's lawyer, attorney Raymond Fortun, told their sister program, StoryCon, that documents from his client's computer indicate other lawmakers, including Senators Joel Villanueva and Jinggoy Estrada, could also be involved. The records reportedly show connections between several legislators and allocations in Bulacan's 1st District. And Fortun said more names might surface as the records are reviewed. Hernandez had earlier planned to submit his computer to the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, but his legal team advised turning it over instead to the Independent Commission for Infrastructure.
And the documents go that Bryce is holding on to. How far up or how far down pa ang kanyang mai-implicate?
Kung ako po yung tatanungin niyo, alam ko merong 6 na senador eh.
Dagdag pa yon. Hindi to total.
6 po yung senador. Sa mga dokumento
Incumbent po yon. Incumbent. Incumbent ba, Senator?
Meron pong 2 na hindi incumbent.
And now we circle back to our top story, where dismissed DPWH Bulacan 1st District Engineer Henry Alcantara has finally spoken before the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, directly implicating Congressman Zaldico. Our big picture tonight is an exclusive footage of Cos residents in Pasig City covered with tarpaulins. One News obtained this footage showing the location where Alcantara allegedly delivered cash to the lawmaker as kickbacks from the Bulacan flood control projects. These kickbacks, he said, are the key reason why Bulacan continues to lack proper infrastructure. It's a big house.
I wonder what they're hiding, though, or is it a security thing?
Maybe it's a security thing. I mean, maybe they could have moved out stuff. Pero you know what convinced me that that medyo may truth yung sinasabi ni D.E. Alcantara? Binigay niya yung directions as if security guard siya nung village.
Diba?
Kaliwa,
Left.
kanan, kaliwa.
Ladybug Street. Pati yung kalsada, di ba? Pinakanan.
But the directions, I mean, that was insane.
Lots
So
of
that
revelations
convinced you,
today.
oo, parang yeah, matter of fact.
Memorize mo yung rutas.
Alam mo, my heart broke when we heard about the fisherman, di ba, who passed away. And then, these are people who, what?
They
Work so hard to earn a meager
Commission, basically.
yeah,
Sobrang
meager
konti.
earnings from selling fish, and then here they count money by the billions.
May 7 vans and suitcases in the basement of a fancy
Insane.
condo.
Talagang, wow, the greed is unbelievable. Anyway, yeah.
I guess 8:30.
Napaisip ako
Oo,
kasi.
ang dami talaga.
I was
Mapapaisip
trying to
ka.
picture the maletas. With
Yeah,
50
diba?
million
At saka
pesos
mabigat
inside.
yun, ha?
Yeah.
Can you imagine 50 million?
Per maleta.
Excess yun sa siguro sa kung magta-travel ka.
Excess talaga yun.
Oo, ilang
Sobrang
kilo kaya
excess.
yun? Hindi pa ako nakakatikim.
Hindi pa rin ako nakakabuhat ng 50 million.
million, diba?
All right. Okay, but for tonight, that's it for us here on The Big Story. Thank you for watching.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
We'll be back here tomorrow at 7. Good night, everyone.
Meanwhile, we have coming up next, play-by-play with Andre Felix and Cheska Liton Calaw. Hi guys! Kamusta naman ang araw ninyo? Apart from maulan.
Hindi ako nakatakbo ngayon, umuulan eh.
Oh, yeah.
Tingin ko sa inyong tatlo, sino bang tingin ko si Sean? Actually, kayong tatlo, yung kaya yung ganong karaming pera.
Hindi ko alam, Andrea.
Kaya magbuhat?
Ano naman yung bubuhatin ko? Wala akong 50 million.
Kaya maglabas.
Maglabas.
Bubuhat. May gulong naman yun, di ba?
1 billion?
May gulong naman siguro yung mali.
Roller suitcase naman siya, di ba?
Yung 4 yung gulong para madali.
Yung marami. Mahirap.
Tsaka bibili ka rin ng maletang medyo matibay, di ba?
Hassle nun.
Biglang kumayon eh. How do you deduct the maletas dun sa yung
Total
costing?
weight.
Oo.
Total weight.
Kasi sa costing, mahal din
By the way,
maleta.
binawasan ko yung 1 billion
Oo.
mo kasi bumili ako ng, I don't know, maraming 100 na maleta.
Branded
So,
na
ibig
maleta.
sabihin, yung maleta, kailangan branded pa. Kailangan mga tipong mga...
Hindi kasi
high-end.
mabigat yung dala eh.
Kailangan quality eh, di ba?
Baka
So, hindi
bumukas
sa
pa bigla.
Baklas yun dun sa lobby,
Dadali mo
nakakahiya.
sa Horizon Homes ng Shangri-La. Kailangan naman mukhang...
So, hindi sa Tiangge lang, gano'n.
Eh kung nag-self-destruct yung maleta dun sa lobby,
Hindi.
paano ka magpapaliwanag? Di ba?
Ay, nako.
Pamigay na lang sa lahat ng tao kung pumutok eh, no?
Oo,
Pero,
unahan.
di ba? Sana makonsensya sila kung sino man yun. Yung mga di ba? O, bakit?
Sana lang.
Iniisip nyo, sinabi ko lang. Thank you so much to Ces, to Pauline, and to Sean. Ces, tahimik ka. Ba't tahimik ka?
Ang bigat kasi.
Ang bigat kasi.
Ang bigat.
Kasi yung last item, yung mga namatay na mga
Yeah.
mangingisda, di ba?
Oo.
Parang, imagine mo, buwis buhay yung kanilang ginagawa.
Mismo.
And
Para
how much
sa
do they
kakarampot
earn?
na kita, na bagyo pa, di ba?
Oh.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, great show as always. Grabe mga pasabog ngayong araw na ito. On our show, hopefully may pasabog din, but we have a strong show, solid show tonight. Thank you to Ces, to Sean, and to Pauline, the ladies of The Big Story. Okay, on our show, first up on the menu, Alex Ayala with a strong start to her season's Asian Swing, plus a check on the FIVB Men's World Volleyball Championship on the last day of the round of 16.
And we speak to basketball standout Jack Animam about her decision to take her talents to Japan.
Mondre Felix.
And I'm Cheska